In this video, I'm going to talk about exactly how much money I made from dividend investing. 2 years ago, I wanted to create some kind of cash flow for myself and I stumbled upon the world of dividend investing. I started to pour hours of research into finding the right kind of companies and investing thousands of dollars every single month. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How much money did I make? And was it even worth it? Hopefully at the end of this video, you'll be able to find out exactly how much money I made with dividend investing and decide for yourself if dividend investing is right for you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Grand Master Plan. So why did I choose dividend investing in the first place? Now that I'm thinking back, I want the monthly cash flow and traditionally the yield is not the highest. I'll be very transparent with that. With dividend investing, you're not going to earn a lot of money in the long term, or rather a lot of money in the short term, but it is a sustainable income for the long term. Usually it's around 4 to 5% for most companies that I wanted to invest in. Honestly, I think I'll have more money if I just invested into the S&P 500 index or into growth stocks that can possibly yield anywhere between 7 to 10% every single year, or even more money than that. I basically wanted something in the future that could produce consistent cash flow for me every single month. It was meant to be built towards my retirement so that in my 50s and 60s and I can anticipate that I'll need more monthly cash money that I can actually touch, money that I can withdraw and use to buy my Thai fund, buy my food, or buy whatever things I can in Singapore and use that money however I wanted. I didn't want to be subjected to the fluctuations in the market. You know, when let's say a recession hits and all your stocks are decreasing, how are you going to withdraw your money like that? But with dividend stocks, they give dividends every single month or perhaps every few months. So that amount may not be affected as much and it would still be deposited into my bank account so I can still eat for the month itself. So my plan was to invest into the dividend paying stocks in Singapore. So Singapore is great because one, it is exactly where I'm living in, so that works out quite nicely, and number two, we have no dividend tax unlike the US. So you get to keep the full dividend income in Singapore, which is honestly very good. I was going to primarily invest in these companies called REITs, which stand for Real Estate Investment Trusts. So these are basically companies that buy real estate and then they rent them out and then they collect that rental income. They basically distribute all this income back as dividends to all the investors. I would say thank them for investing, or rather provide them with the capital to buy this in the first place. So it basically means you become a landlord where you don't have to deal with the rental, you don't have to deal with the tenants and all the mortgages or the loans or whatever other thing. You don't have to deal with all the things that are spoiled. You basically just invest money and then you sit at the end of the month, you're just going to receive money. So there's no better passive income than this, and I really feel like this is the best way you can become a landlord without having to go through all the nitty-gritty stuff or dealing with the administrative things, and it is one of the closest to passive income. So the plan was also I would invest around $2,800, which was the spare cash that I had at that time itself, into dividends investing. I would put 50% into one company and the other 50% into the other company. So I'm only going to look at two companies for now, and I'm going to sort of maximize and focus on these two companies first. I might diversify in the future, but I just want to focus on these two companies. I don't want to spend so much time thinking about all the different companies and all the different sectors. I'm just going to stick to two companies. That way I'll be able to diversify a little bit but keep my portfolio relatively small so that it's not too complicated. The second thing we're going to go for would be time for shopping. Basically, now that the game plan was set, it was finally time to buy into the companies. I specifically chose these two companies, Ascender REITs and Capital Landmall REITs. These were two established REITs, and if you look around Singapore, you were able to find a lot of buildings with their name or logo on it. So it gave me additional confidence so that there were big established companies that were around for a long time and I could see them everywhere in Singapore as I walked around in the city, even where I stay near the industrial area, I could even see these companies owning all these buildings that are near me. Nowadays, it's kind of funny, but whenever I walk around Singapore and I see a building with their logo, I think to myself, I own a little bit of that and that made me feel good. I think this is the difference with buying most other stocks. You only see them on a digital screen, when you're scrolling through your phone, you're probably desensitized because they are just numbers and they don't mean anything to you. When it goes up, you feel good. When it goes down, you feel bad, and that's about it. But with the REITs wise, I can get real dividend returns from that, and I can see the concrete buildings outside my door, outside my window right now. If I were to look out at it, I can see buildings that are owned by Ascender's REITs, for example, and it just feels so much more real to me when it comes to investing in that sense, and it just makes investing so much more possible and real in life. The dividend yield for these two companies was just nice, between that 4 to 5%, so they fit exactly what I was looking for. The plan was to buy $1,400 worth of each of them every single month, regardless of the ups and downs. So I don't care what price they were, I'm just going to invest in them consistently every single month. So I wasn't going to earn any capital appreciation. This was the expectation going in, and I was just investing purely for the dividends. This means that I'll have the dollar cost average every single month, and I'll have a decent buying price because of it. So, however, I did not stick to the plan. So I found myself trying to spot the highs and lows. So when the prices were high, I was actually scared to buy. I was waiting for a long time, and when the price was low, then that's the only time where I wanted to buy. So this meant that I was not sticking to the plan, and that buying was based on my emotions and fluctuations. The last point would be the final results. This leads me to my final results as of today. I've invested about $18,500 for each of the two companies, which brings the grand total to around $37,000. So if I divide that by $2,800, it comes down to around 13 months of me consistently investing into these companies. I realized my first buy was around 17 months ago, so basically I did not invest for about 4 or so months, basically maybe half a year or so. I was not able to stick to my plan. And if I go with the dividends that I earned from Ascender's REITs first, so the first dividend payout was in March 2023, and it was a whopping $174.35. After that was $239.50 in June, and then $77.32 in September. The most recent payout this month was the most, which was $505.98. So that is pretty nice money, you know. Finally, I'm getting $500, which is pretty nice number. In total, I started investing in 2022. I have earned a total of $997.15 from Ascender REITs. This brings the yield to around 5%, which was what I was aiming for. So that's pretty good, I think. For Capital Land Mall REITs, I earned $160.80 in March of 2023, and then $360.40 in September, which brings to a grand total of $521.20. So this brings the yield to just about 3%. It's probably a bit on the lower side because I haven't gotten the dividend payout for this month itself, but after the dividends at the end of this month, I believe with the calculations that I've done, it should be hitting around a 5% yield as well, which also fits to the plan quite nicely. All in all, I think it brings my grand total to around $1,518.95 for a total of 13 months of investing, or around $2,000 if you add in this month's dividends, factoring everything and rounding up things a little bit. It isn't crazy money, especially if you average out monthly, it's only about $90 a month. So that's not a lot of money, but it is very passive income, and I would like to continue this way of investing to earn this money. It's actually quite nice to, just get $500 just depositing into your account during a certain month. It just feels like free money to some extent, but it is still pretty nice to get that money. But moving forward, these are the lessons that I am trying to take away from this whole experience, which is I would try to invest a bit more consistently so that I can increase the passive income that I can potentially get every single year. I'm also saving up for my house, so I think that's something that might potentially reduce the amount of money that I'm investing in, since I have to save up money to buy my house that I'm going to get married in with my wife and everything. So I think that might be coming in the way of what I've invested in my dividend portfolio. I might even have to sell some stocks in order to afford the house, but we'll see how those things are. I'll update you guys on how those things go. I'm also having to dollar cost average and not care about the fluctuations in the price, so I can increase the passive income that I'm earning every single year. But basically, I have to be able to stick to my plan a little bit more consistently and dollar cost average, because it is impossible to aim for the highs and the lows, and I think I should just be sticking to buying more consistently rather than trying to buy low and then sell high and trying to get capital appreciation. I'm just not sticking to my plan good enough. And if the concept of earning consistent income every month is attractive to you, then this might potentially be something that you can invest into to buy your investment portfolio. If you enjoyed this video, then you'll probably enjoy this video right here on my 5 income sources that help me earn more than $10,000 every single month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye!